This video was brought to you by Loot Anime. It's everything you love about Loot Crate, but with an anime twist. Every month, you can get a box filled with all kinds of goodies based on your favorite anime. The theme for this month is back to school, so get yourself a box filled with goodies from Assassination Classroom, Fruits Basket, Utena, Digimon Adventure Tri, Danganronpa, and Persona 3. Click the link down below in the video description and use discount code NeoGameSpark to save yourself 10%. What is going on, everybody? NGS back again for another video. Thank you so much for clicking. Today, I'm going to be doing another discussion, another audio discussion with a very good friend of mine. He was with me through, the really early days of the NXP podcast, and we've spun off to doing different discussions here and there, such as DMC, the reboot of Devil May Cry, talking about our favorite speedster, The Flash, and now we're going to take things back and talk about the Caped Crusader himself, Batman. Today, I bring on my friend, Young Rottz. What's going on?
Man, not much, man. How you been, bro?
I've been pretty good, man, especially after what we're about to talk about right here, man. What are we about to talk about today, man?
We're about to talk about Telltale and some more comic greatness with Telltale's Batman story.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, today, sit back, relax, because we're going to be discussing the first episode of Telltale's Batman. So going into this, this kind of was, I guess you could say it was under the radar for me for the longest time.
Yeah, same for me. It's like I knew it existed, and I won't lie, I knew the potential of what Telltale could do with this game, but I didn't know if they would take it as far as they did. And boy, did they just blow my expectations out the water, honestly.
Most definitely, because we've played a lot of Telltale games in the past. Walking Dead, Tales from the Borderlands, more specifically a game that's actually very near and dear to our hearts.
Oh, bring out the GOAT, man.
Bring it out. We bringing it out. We talking about The Wolf Among Us, man.
Boy.
Oh. Man, can y'all say legit masterpiece of interactive storytelling right there, man?
Great game. I love that game to death.
I don't know how many times. I think it's over 5 times that I've played that game, man.
It's a great vibe. It's a great setting, and honestly, it's like it was a very intriguing story. It was like it would kill me when the episode would end. I'm like, oh, come on, bruh. Come on, man. And this is worse than any TV show because you have to wait about a month and a half.
Oh, you know what I think was the funniest thing is that there was such a big gap. I think it was between either the first and the second episode or the second and the third. First and the second. Oh, my God.
I think the first episode came out like around November-ish, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the second one came out and I don't remember the year specifically, but I remember it was like around so around November-ish, and I think the second episode was like around February, March, I think.
Yo, you went through a whole holiday season, man.
They just it's almost like they forgot about it, bro. I'm like, come on, man. People prepaid for this. I'm thinking Wolf Among Us was like this crazy concoction that had just a recipe of the fairy tales with a little bit of Batman with like a sprinkle of Wolverine in it.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I mean, the Wolf Among Us.
Exactly, with like a sprinkle of Wolverine. And honestly, just like whatever your favorite detective show is, like it was that level of mystery solving.
Needless to say, it was a fantastic game, and for the longest time, we were really anticipating a sequel to it, but Telltale was always like, these lips are sealed. Oh, you remember that, don't you?
Man, yo, you a fool. Oh, my God. These lips are sealed.
Literally, it's like, are we going to get The Wolf Among Us Season 2? These lips are sealed. These lips are sealed. Dang it.
Like, for real, we need that mirror, yo. The mirror up and ask, hey, when is Season 2 coming out?
Oh, man. But then he's going to reject us with a rhyme. So, take that as you will. But anyways, The Wolf Among Us really got us excited for the concept of another game based off of a comic book that had a mature setting and it had a sort of a detective vibe. And lo and behold, fast forward about a year and a half, we got an announcement that Telltale was working on Batman. And like we mentioned in the intro, this game was under the radar for a while because they really didn't say much about it, I think until E3.
Yeah, I didn't. Wasn't that when they dropped that little trailer?
Yeah, they dropped the trailer and they announced the voice cast and they had some screenshots. So it seemed
Yeah,
interesting, but I think more than anything, what kind of kept me like, I guess, on the fence about it was because, since I play a ton of Telltale games, they all started to blend and become the same thing. So it really, there needed to be something more than just being one of my favorite characters, Batman, to sink me in because I love Batman, but how are they going to make him work in this interactive story? And gosh freaking darn it, they made it work. Oh my God.
they really did. They managed to not only separate themselves from what the Arkham games did, but honestly, this one game, I've seen some people flat out say I would play this over Arkham Knight. That kind of goes hand in hand with something with Batman is that Batman has a lot of layers to his franchise. Yes, there's fighting. Yes, there's ninja stuff. Yes, there's villains. There's also a great story. It's also a really good deep story. When you think about how fleshed out it is, there's a lot to it. There's the story, there's the atmosphere, there's diving into how Bruce Wayne and Batman how to coexist. There's all that stuff, and it's like the Arkham games didn't get. The Arkham games gave us more just Batman stories, but Batman is despite what some people say, Batman is the alter ego. This is like what a crazy night out in a strictly Batman story would be. That would be the Arkham games. Whereas this Telltale game was a Bruce Wayne and Batman story. Hence on Bruce Wayne because that's who he has to. He has to be Bruce Wayne more than Batman. So you actually have to see what Bruce Wayne has to go through. And that right there won me over quite a bit.
Yeah, most definitely. I was really interested because when you think about Telltale games and how they handle combat and stuff, it's basically just QTEs. You press the button. There's only so many ways you can dodge or beat up on a guy because they're not actual. There's no engine that's geared up towards fighting. It's just making sure you dodge the stuff. But what really sold me on this game more than anything was that they, like Rob said, they separated the Batman persona from Bruce Wayne. And I think what really, honestly helps this game more than anything is that this is a story about Batman year one.
The early times where you had to apply the boot on Gotham's ass.
Yeah, you have a rough around the edges Batman who's still green. He knows what he's doing. He's has a good idea of what he wants to do, but he's still kind of jaded. He's interacting with, people like Carmine Falcone for the first time and Selena Kyle and meeting with Harvey Dent. And what really helps sell this is that you're focusing more on the persona of Bruce Wayne and the corruption in Gotham more so than the Bat persona, which I think is great because the way I kind of I guess people say justify this existence, like justify a Telltale Batman game. The way I justify this is that it's taking the story of Bruce Wayne when he was young, but actually digging deep into it and attaching emotion to it in a game, which we normally don't see. I mean, how many times do we see the flashback of where Bruce's parents get killed? We see that all the time, and sometimes in the games there's no worth to it because it's just there to set something up, set the tone, what have you. But in here, it actually makes a lot of sense because in the Batcave, there is memorabilia from the night his parents died. And there's a certain emotional attachment that's woven into the story, which I thought was handled very well.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. It's like this is one of those occasions, and surprisingly, now that I'm about to say it, it makes me realize how little we see it. We honestly don't. see that often how Bruce Wayne is still haunted by his parents' death. It's like it's almost like we came to a point of understanding, oh yeah, we know what happened and we know he used it to become Batman. But it's like eventually people just stopped mentioning the fact that it still haunts him. Like even later in his years, it still affects him. And this is like early Batman. So this should be a Batman he's still trying to you know what? I'm gonna be trying to explain. He's the best quote he said was, "You remember that conversation he had with Alfred when he just, I don't want to say he broke down, but he opened up and kept talking about that night, and then he said, you know, I can't get it out of my head."
Yes.
Yeah, and it was like we don't see that often. That's why just kind of piggyback on what you were saying. They don't really show the ramifications from that though. So I actually like that they did it. Like one small conversation you were talking with one of Gotham's wealthy families, and when they started going in talking about the Waynes, you saw all on Bruce's face like they touched a serious nerve right there.
Mm-hmm. And in typical Telltale fashion, it wouldn't be a Telltale game without choice or the illusion of choice, really. In a lot of the games, even one that I love more than anything, The Wolf Among Us, they present you with the option of choice, but when you break it down in the grand scheme of things, it really doesn't matter much. It's more for cosmetic stuff. But in this game, from what I've seen, there's like actual ramifications for it because you are Bruce Wayne. You have a public persona. You're not just some random dude who people can get scared of. And you actually have to, I guess you can say, turn your brain on and play Bruce Wayne, the billionaire playboy, or you can turn it off and act like the brash, early in his years Batman, which I thought was really interesting. What about you?
Oh, that's one of those things when I heard the developers say this, my ears just shot up and I was like, okay, I'm invested just because you said that. This is before I even saw a trailer. When the developers stressed the point that this is your Batman and Bruce Wayne, they basically said you decide how they approach things. You decide what Gotham sees. What kind of Batman are you gonna have? What kind of Bruce Wayne are you gonna have? You know, and me personally, I tried to have my Batman be fair but firm. So yeah, my first playthrough was kind of a extra by the book playthrough,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, we'll see how long that goes. It's only episode 1. For all we know, my Batman may make a flip at some point, depending on what goes down.
Yeah.
and and my Bruce Wayne, I just tried to make him. I tried to make him a good bullshitter. You know, like he slaps that smug face on because my this is like a personal goal I have, and I think you said you try and do it as well. It's like I want to have a Bruce Wayne that you can't even compare with Batman. Like they act so different. Like, but I think that's the goal. They act so different that people won't even think like they won't even be able to. Because I got a feeling that's gonna come up depending on how you act. I think if you try to act tough and stuff, I think there'll be ramifications for it. But that's a whole nother thing for future episodes. So yeah, that's like I literally try to play it off like that. So what about you? Like what kind of direction did you take your Batman and Bruce Wayne?
Yeah, you kind of hit the nail on the head when you said you wanted to make sure that they're two completely separate personas, so the average regular person wouldn't catch on to anything. But I do recognize that Bruce Wayne, he is human like any other, just like I am. So there are moments where I'm just like, okay, I know Bruce Wayne would try to, act like this, but you know what? I'm just gonna, piss this dude off. He's trying to, he's
Exactly.
going, like, you remember the scene in the park where the dude was trying to mug you?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
In that scene, you have the options of basically going the good boy route, saying, take it easy, it doesn't have to go like this. But then there's the bad boy route, which is essentially, do it, bitch, see what happens.
Exactly. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I had to go ahead and go there. I had to go that route because it seems like X is always the Batman responses. Yeah.
Right, right. I just had to do that because I mean, like I said, I'm only human, and sometimes my whatever the judgment is, it can get the better of me. And I think that's what's really cool about these Telltale games because you can play them over and over and over and over. You can just be full on renegade and just see the reactions and what effect they take on the world. Likewise, you can be completely paragon and see the actions will affect the world from that.
Exactly, exactly. Hey, you know what? That's a good way to put it because my first playthrough is I'm trying to be fair but firm. I think that's the best way to put it. But also I'm trying to go if I was in this position as well. So yeah, it's like I haven't done all the best decisions. There's some where I know the best decision could be made, but I just said screw it. Just given the situation, I was like, I'll go back another playthrough and be Mr. Goody Two Shoes 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, but that moment right there, like I mean, you ain't gotta make Bruce no punk, man.
Going back to original point that I was talking about earlier in the discussion on how all these Telltale games, they're kind of blending into one and the same, and their combat isn't something special. I can appreciate that the I guess you could say the attempts to make things different in this one. Basically, what they've done is they took the Batman, I guess you could say detective mode, and they put that bish on steroids, where you can actually plot out how you're gonna take down certain
Yes.
people.
Yes. Beautiful. Beautiful. Quick side note.
Mm-hmm.
What was your HUD display color?
Of course, it was purple.
All right. Yeah, I was rocking with that red. That's
Mm-hmm.
another thing. People, you get to customize your Batman all the way down to what color you want the tech to be. Come on now, this is your Batman. Do him how you want.
And that was the coolest thing. It's like it's the little details I think more than anything that kind of sell the game and kind of build the universe up. I don't know, but that's just me.
Yeah, oh yeah, and more credit for them because they could have made this and based it off of any of the thousands of hundreds of thousand comic books out there. But the fact that they borrowed small little snippets and decided we're gonna make this is our Batman, and so this is our Batman, and we're giving you the tools to make your Batman. Oh man, it's beautiful because you're seeing all new things. I just I saw a Batmobile I never seen before,
Oh
dog.
my god,
I
dog.
never seen that before, man.
Dog, can we talk about this for a minute? Go ahead.
Yo, so there's a scene when I watched it, it made me wonder how this was good. Because I one of the biggest questions I used to have was like, okay, how does Bruce change in the field? How does he change in the field? First of all, without being spotted, of course, and then how does he always have access to his vehicles just like that? Like mainly specifically the Batmobile. They, the geniuses at Telltale, had this genius idea of having Bruce come around. He had this red, it looked like a Lambo, but I'm not sure. It looked like a Lamborghini. I might be wrong. But he walks up to it and then you just see press X. And when you press it, he clicks on the button and this bad boy goes from civilian mode to the Batmobile. The red paint job turns black. The extra exhaust and the thrusters come out the back. The fins come out on the sides. I was like, yo, that is brilliant. The fact that he has a civilian sports car that turns into the Batmobile. And then I think his direct line he told Alfred was that, well, I can always change in the car. I was like, oh man, dude, like that was crazy. I lost it so hard because I've never seen that idea done before, and it was so brilliant. I don't know how anybody else hasn't. Bro, if it's out there, show me. But I don't remember seeing this. The idea of actually having the Batmobile have a civilian mode. That's brilliant, yo.
You know what it kind of reminded me of, bro?
Or,
It reminded me of the opening for The Incredibles.
oh man.
Where he just gets in the car and it's a regular everyday car and then he just hits the button, it just transforms into this badass vehicle, bro. That's what I got.
Yeah, yeah, man. I didn't. Oh man. Yeah. Shout out to the Incredibles, by the way.
Yo, man, I'm waiting for that sequel, man. We got 3 more years. Oh god.
Oh, another 3 years. Oh boy, so close.
Yeah, man. Well, at least we got Infinity War to look forward to, and then next year, Incredibles, yay!
Yeah, that's true. But Doctor Strange ain't looking that far off now.
Oh yeah, Doctor Strange is about to come out tomorrow at this rate.
Yeah, no, right?
Oh
But
boy.
but yeah, like they've actually taken the initiative to make this their Batman, and that was one of the biggest additions that I just loved right there.
Yeah, again, going back to what I mentioned earlier, it's the little details that really weave this story together. And I'm just loving every single second of it. There is one thing, though, that I do have to comment on because it wouldn't be right when we're talking about this. If you're playing this game on the PlayStation 4 or the PC, this game runs like absolute dog shit. I'm not going to
Oh,
sugarcoat it.
yeah,
I know someone in the comments is going to say that, well, all Telltale games have some performance issues. No, this is like sub 20 frames for the action scenes, and it's just. Telltale needs to retire this engine.
yeah. They need to start because isn't this out on PS3 still?
It's out on PS3. It's probably going to be out on mobile if it's not already. It's
Jeez. Is it do Telltale still do Vita games?
that's what I'm trying to figure out. It's I know
Because
they're
I think Wolf Among Us is on the Vita.
yeah, and it runs pretty damn bad on the Vita too. I have it.
Oh, man. Oh boy.
So I don't know if they can fix these with a patch or the future episodes are going to be better, but there's no reason that this game on PlayStation 4 shouldn't be running at a very minimum of 30 frames. There's not much
Yeah.
action going on.
Yo, for real, man. It's like, and that did kind of bum me out because you looked at the new graphics. I mean, you see like their new graphics setting now. It's like it's not so extra cell shade. It's actual 3D models with a little bit of cell shading in it.
Right, right.
And so I thought I was like, so when I saw that, I was thinking, oh man, whole new engine. I'm like, no, this the same horror with different makeup on.
That's all it is. But you know what's even more disappointing is that The Wolf Among Us on PS4 ran like a dream compared to this.
Oh yeah. I dare say probably all the older games probably would, except Jurassic Park.
Uh, uh, uh.
And somewhere right now,
There's a certain
some
person.
getting ready to say,
I liked it.
hey. uh,
Oh, nobody except maybe future Gohan is gonna get that.
yeah.
Now that we finished discussing the first episode in this season, we're gonna take this time to talk about where I guess we expect this to go, and more specifically, we're going to mention where we don't want them to take this. So first and foremost, at the end of the first episode, everything is like up in the air on what's going to happen to this because you find out at the end of the first episode, I'm really not going to spoil it, you find out that things are not what they seem. You think that something was because of such and such when it really wasn't, and they're really weaving this very controversial story that for all intents and purposes kind of throws the Batman lore, it flips it upside down, which is really interesting. I don't know if it's ever been done before. So it's going to be really intriguing to see where they take this story. But more specifically, more than anything, something that we don't want them to do, and we were discussing about this after I finished the episode, I don't want them to rush directly into the major A-listers in his rogue gallery. What about you?
I agree. Let's take it a little bit slow because we have uncharted Batman waters now, and this is trying to watch Batman make his imprint in Gotham so that the escalation can happen later. I mean, for a lot of people, the Nolan followers, I'm sure you're familiar with the word escalation. You know, that was like after Batman established himself that the real crazy started to show up. That was like, the whole scales of balance. So we have a moment. Let's just watch Batman get ready to solidify himself first. So then when the scales tip, then you can see the main villains coming, some of them at some point. And this is if it has multiple seasons. if it has a good 5 episode stretch, I would be all for multiple seasons.
Yeah, I definitely think that there's a lot of potential in this if they actually take it slow and not rush into anything. I really want them to focus on this one story and have it be very personal for Bruce without having to rush to his rogue gallery. Like, well, we need
Yeah,
to do such and such and such and such because it's not Batman without them. I think what really, really helps this is that this isn't a movie. This isn't a video game like Arkham Asylum where you want to fight all these bad guys. This is for all intents and purposes, it's like reading a comic.
it is. It is. That's probably why it's so enjoyable. Just the atmosphere.
Yeah, you get really immersed in this. You love what's going on, and the last thing that you want them to do is add in all this unnecessary fluff because that's just it kind of cheapens the universe if we have to go directly into this. I think the best analogy on this is I don't want them to pull a Gotham and do everything just because we got to drag in people to watch it.
Oh God, yeah, that's the best way to put it. The best way.
Let's hope a certain person who well, I guess you could say a person by the name of Jerome. Let's hope that he doesn't show up.
Yeah, oh, let's not. Let's for the love of God, let's let's let the clown get some rest. He's 70 something years old. Let him rest, man. Let him rest, man. Let's not. Let's create that same feeling we had in Batman Begins when Gordon was like, so and so leaves a calling card and everybody's brain just rolled out of their ears.
And one last thing before we go, we want to talk about something that was really interesting because at first I didn't know really how to feel about this, but I want to talk about the voice cast in this. If you've played any Telltale game, more specifically the Tales from the Borderlands, I think what they did is just recycle that entire cast in here.
Oh yeah, they got them on call, man.
Yeah, dead ass. So, for those who don't know, Troy Baker voices Bruce Wayne / Batman in this. I don't think this is his first time. I think he might have done it in a Lego game.
Really?
Possibly. I think he did it in a Lego game. Either he voiced Batman in a Lego game or Superman in a Lego game. It might have been Superman.
That's interesting. That's interesting.
So Troy Baker as Batman, you have Laura Bailey voicing Selena Kyle, Travis Willingham voicing Harvey Dent, and you have Richard McGonigal voicing Carmen Falcone. If you guys aren't familiar with him, he's Sully in the Uncharted series.
Man, that was a shock right there.
That was a shock and it fits so well. But I gotta say, I was so skeptical because I'm so used to hearing Troy, Laura, and Travis everywhere. But I gotta say, Troy, my God, bless his heart, man. He knocked it out of the park as Bruce Wayne.
He did it great because he felt like a young Bruce Wayne. His voice wasn't Conroy deep. He felt like young Bruce Wayne, like especially without getting into it. I'm sure you know what I mean. That final piece of dialogue at the end where he's like all emotional and stuff.
And another thing that was really interesting was the way they handled his Batman voice.
Yes. Yes. I will go on back and say I said this from the start. I don't mind. I actually don't mind Batman having a synthesizer because it actually makes sense. If I have to fight people and jump off buildings and do all this stuff, I cannot be worried about trying to mask my voice when I'm trying to talk to somebody and they're trying to hit me in the face. So the fact that Troy's Batman has but his synthesizer is dope though, man. It actually sounds cool.
Yeah, it like deepens his voice and it adds a tiny little bit of I guess robotic vibe to it, but not overboard. And what was really great is that he only uses it in situations where his identity may or may not be compromised. You actually see him turn it on when he's after he's done investigating. He's like, time to go to work. And I was just like, oh my.
That's probably my favorite line. It's probably my favorite Batman line so far. I love that he did it because I had to stop myself from spoiling right there. But, you actually heard me hit the brakes on it. But yeah, it was a certain moment you're doing investigative work, and then when it's time to put hands on someone, he just flicks it on. Time to go to work. I'm like, oh yeah.
Oh man, it was very good, and I mean these are all first and foremost they're fantastic actors. So line delivery and all that stuff really wasn't an issue. I think it was just more familiarity that people were complained about.
Yeah,
Which I mean, to each their own. I can understand that, but everyone did a great job. The writing is fantastic as usual, and like all other Telltale games, it leaves you wanting more.
exactly. I don't know what it is with Laura Bailey, but she probably can create the most sensual voice ever.
Oh my god, yeah, that's half the reason I'm playing Tales from the Borderlands, man. She just sounds nice, like so. I don't know. It's hard to explain Laura Bailey voice.
It's like when she wants to, she'll turn that sensualness up to 50, man. Like having her as Catwoman, I'm like nah, I got a feeling you're gonna be a bad influence because I'm end up making decisions, whatever it is, to be on her good side. I'm like, no, I gotta be a man, damn it.
Be a man. Just start singing that, you'll be good. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, that wraps up our discussion slash review of the first episode of Telltale's Batman. My name is NGS, signing off for young Rottz right here, who is no longer young. I don't know why I keep calling him young. He's Rottz now.
That's how we met, man.
That's how we met. And you know, back in the day, in the Batman Begins era, you were young, Rottz. You were.
I was young and I was happy.
Yes, you were happy at watching
I,
DC movies.
I was so overjoyed watching DC movies, and then just like the Fire Nation, then Dark Knight Rises came.
Oh man. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, signing off for Rottz112. My name is NGS. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you guys later. Peace.
Peace.